Here we go again.
It's always an adventure with you, Guy. Always an adventure. Always. So, first week of the semester, which means we're all out here pretending that we are fresh new people with fresh new systems. And this semester will be different.
Yes. So different. I've already color-coded my calendar, reorganized my inbox. It is empty, and it makes me a little compulsive about trying to keep it empty because I know I can. This is the start of my, 46th semester at the university, not counting summers.
Okay.
And I think this time, the 46th time, I can keep my inbox empty and I will stay ahead of grading.
Okay, I'm going to give that a week. A week?
Probably Tuesday.
I mean, so this is Not That Kind of Doctor, the podcast where these two academics talk crankily about the realities of academia, teaching, learning, and the chaos we keep choosing semester after semester.
I'm Guy Trainin, professor of innovative learning technologies and many other things here at UNL.
That is not what the script says. The script says professor of everything. All caps.
Yes.
And I'm Nick Husbye. I'm an associate professor of elementary literacy education, K6, here at UNL. And today we are contractually obligated to pretend that we have our lives together. And we're going to be talking about goals for the new semester.
And it's our goals, your goals, and the goals that are already quietly dissolving into the ether.
Like the snow melting on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Just going away.
Slushy.
Only to be returned when it happens. I love Nebraska winters. Love them. So there is not going to be any live, laugh, lesson plan stuff here. Like, that's not what we're doing. We're going to try to keep it as practical as possible.
And so let's talk about what we actually want the semester to look like, what we actually want without pretending, without thinking that for the 46th time it's going to be different, and how you might plan on your own without burning out on week 2.
All I have in my head right now is, maybe this time I'll be lucky.
That is basically it. Right here, captured in a nutshell.
Okay, music break. I do love some cabaret. So, okay, Wendy Saul, who I adore and has been on the show before talking about some of the work that she and Angela did, has this framing that I love. Whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed by this semester, I will call her and be like, Wendy, tell me your thing. And her thing is, one of the lovely things about our jobs is that semesters end.
Yes.
And then the new semester starts.
Yes.
And then the possibilities to just start lying to yourself all over again come about.
Yes.
Right? Because there is this like weird new academic self kind of thing
It's going
happening.
to be different this time, for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be different. Why? Why do we do this to ourselves?
Hope springs eternal? I've stopped doing it, actually. I've stopped believing in it completely. Again, going back to 46 rounds of this. You're like, I've figured out it's never new.
It is never new.
But it is in some ways. Right?
Okay, so talk to me about that distinction then. In your 46 semesters of teaching experience, so how do you differentiate those things?
So what isn't new is it's not going to be that different. The idea that this time I'm going to have 37 hours a day is not a viable option. I'm not going to be more productive.
I mean, truth, because you don't have a room that you can walk into and be like, oh, this is
the room that gives me extra 13 hours a day.
This gives me 13 extra hours a day.
Yes.
I want to take a nap in that room.
Yes. Google, when I visited, had a nap room.
Oh,
Yes.
We have a nap room.
We need a nap. We can talk to the dean. Talk to your dean and ask, not if you're pre-tenure, don't talk to your dean about the nap room. It might be a bad idea. I don't know. But I love the idea. And it had a timer and you could have 40 minutes.
But is that because they expect their employees to be there 22 hours out of the day? So maybe we don't want that actually. That seems to go at odds with the work-life balance stuff that we've been trying to,
Yeah, and we have outdoor spaces.
I mean, true. Okay.
With hammocks and all of that. I think students usually use them, but I mean, theoretically we could.
We could.
And so for me, it's about realizing what are the limitations and working within those limitations and having realistic expectations. But there is something wonderful of a new, fresh group of faces walking into our class, and we get to reboot that class. So whatever we did wrong or didn't go as well last time, we can fix that. We are starting relationships anew. All of that is actually new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to think about the new semester as I get to mess up differently.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And in ways that I don't know about yet. Right? And that's okay. I think that's okay. That's part of trying to own and work against that whole notion of oh, it's a new semester. I've got my new notebook for all my new notes about all my new students and my new lesson planning. And I've got a nice clean syllabi that, is going to actually work the way that I've written it. They never work the way that I've written it. And just lots of, unrealistic expectations for myself. And I think one of the things, we're middle age, essentially, right?
My sister just informed me that we are in our late afternoon years. I'm older than you.
I don't like that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to say that. I'm not a fan. I like your sister, but no. Middle age, right? And so what middle age means is we are out of our formative years.
Yes, definitely.
And so whenever I approach a goal, I always keep that in mind, that I'm pretty formed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty formed, which doesn't land well on a dating app profile. Hey, I'm not missing anything. I'm already formed. I'm not looking for my other half because I am whole. But I do recognize that I have a core set of characteristics. I have a core set of how I prefer to work. Sometimes I'm aware of it. Sometimes I'm not aware of it.
Yeah.
And I think a new semester is a space to be thinking about degrees of change, right? I'm not going to be able to, I don't have the energy. It's not to say that you can't completely change at some point, but I don't have the energy to do it. I can target one or two things that focus in on systems, not symptoms.
Yeah.
Right? So the notion of, grading, I'm going to keep up on grading.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I'm going to keep up on grading, I'm going to create a system that distributes my grading so that my grading, not migrating. Inside joke.
There's trauma from migrating our digital systems and platforms.
There really is.
We have yet to recover, but
where is my calendar? But thinking through systems, and that's I think one of the things that I'm really trying.
Yes.
If you take anything away from this episode, I think it would be the notion of invest in tweaking or creating a new system, not necessarily a symptom goal. Yeah. Think about systems.
And that goes back to saying, I will stay on top of grading. I mean, it is a goal, but it doesn't have a plan. So it's back to a wish, right? I wish I would just find extra time. That doesn't happen. 46 times. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Every semester is the same. There's a moment in the semester where you realize that this is more than you can handle at this minute because something else came up, whether it's service, whether it's research, whether it's somebody, I got a cover for somebody because they can't get to class because they are now in the hospital or anything like that. That's going to derail you in some ways. And so it's going to happen. So what is your system? How are you actually going to change what's happening so you can track it? And building a system is the way to think about this. What am I doing this semester that I didn't do last semester? And doing more is not an option. Limited number of hours, time management.
Time management. And I also like to think about when you're thinking about your goals for this semester, it's a bit like when you buy a house, right? When I bought my house, I had just a handful of non-negotiables, HGTV be damned. And I kept it to 3 because it was going to be impossible to find a house that fit all my non-negotiables. Also, I'm single and live alone. I just needed a backyard for my dogs and a kitchen. That wasn't a disaster. Didn't ask for much. But then, so I had, for goals, I always like to have one non-negotiable. This is the one that I'm going to spend the majority of my time and energy in changing.
Yeah.
And then I've got some nice to have goal. And that one, I might not consistently get at it, but I'm working on it. But it's not taking up much energy at all. It's nice to have. I'm going to do it when I can. But really, it all is grounded in that realistic picture of what is it that you're working toward. So with all of that, what are your goals for this coming semester, man?
So, one goal is the book that was supposed to happen over the break, which I decided not to do over the break.
Proud of you.
And so that book has to be done by the end of the semester. So that's one goal. And there are 2 grant proposals that need to go out. Those have a deadline, unfortunately and fortunately. And I have not about exactly 4 papers that are in the last, phase of pushing out. Those go out. So I have a big research agenda that I'm getting through. There's a little bit of data collection and all of that, but it's mostly about pushing stuff out at the beginning of the year, kind of prepping the year. So I would like to meet a good portion of my goals before we get to summer break. So I feel like we've done the work that I've done the work I needed to do. And then in teaching, I actually am revamping the class that we both teach at different times. And so I've revamped this class and I am tracking the impacts. We're integrating AI into a lot of the work that our students are doing. And I want to track it and know what is actually happening. So in teaching, that's the thing I'm leaning into. And it goes back to the things that our friend Justin Olmanson always says, and I abide by it for the most part, is don't redesign everything, especially if you get to this. We're beginning of the semester. If you haven't redesigned your course by now, you do not need to redesign everything. This is over. I know you wanted to, but then you had a break and you took appropriately your break. So now tinker. 10%, 20% of changes. Everything else, keep it as is, because you know how to do that. And so if you know how to do that, that's considerably more productive to keep, change a little bit, and move on.
Yes.
And that's my second goal. So I have a big research agenda, and I have systems. My systems have names because they're all graduate students. I have systems that keep me going. I have a calendar of meetings where we work on each one of those pieces. And so going back to how do I get to it, that's where I'm going. What about you?
I'm so jealous about your calendar. My calendar got lost in the migration. It kind of feels like a death in the family. I'm mourning a little bit, and I'm actually not quite sure if they can't get it back online, what I'm going to do with that. So that's one thing I have to think about is what is what is my system going to look like? Because I'm
a little bit in a flux.
A little bit adrift, and I don't like it.
So, what are your goals for the semester?
So, goals for this semester. I have, speaking of course revisions, I'm teaching a grad class this semester, writing in the academy, and I've revamped that course. Partially because the last time I taught it was the first time I taught it. And I really liked what I did, but AI wasn't a thing then, et cetera, et cetera. And so when this views, or when this posts, I will have already revamped, and Dan's gonna roll his eyes because he helped me with every single one of these videos. I will have revamped all like 46 videos in that course. And made them accessible. It was a lot of videos. Dan, you are the wind beneath my wings.
It's a musical show today.
It's a musical show today. I'm very musical. I don't know why. So that's going to launch, and part of what's happening there is there's a book manuscript that's attached to that course.
That's great.
Because of how it went the first time, and there was a deadline, much like you know. But then when talking with editors, we were like, there's no AI here at all, because it wasn't a thing, really. It wasn't a widespread thing when I was collecting data and thinking about what was going on. And so we decided to go back, revise that so that there would be AI. So I'm excited to see how all of that plays out. So it's teaching and research. It's all kind of together. And then kind of on the back burner, the backgrounded kind of space is accessibility work. So ADA compliance is important, particularly as, again, I'm really excited about the play that you're working through in Lit Block.
Yeah.
Because in fall, what I want to do with Lit Block is make it more hybrid.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so part of what I'm doing this next semester is I've kind of mapped out those pockets of hybridity and thought about like lab days, application days, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm going to start getting those things filmed, edited into Canvas so that when fall comes around, that's all good to go.
Yeah.
So lots of checklists. Like this coming semester, I think I can get that done with 5 hours a week if I take that 5 hours a week to get that done. So they're pretty boring. It's not like I tend to like a good boring goal, right? It's like fitness. I don't want a six-pack. One, because I don't think genetically that's possible for me. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Well, if it happens when you're somewhere between 16 and 25.
Yeah,
I know some people do it later.
That ship
really
has sailed. I think that ship has sailed for me. However, if I can be like, I'm going to go to the gym and work out for 30 minutes every day. Sucking at that goal right now. However, it's a pretty boring goal. I'm not saying I want my body to look in a particular way. I'm just showing up, doing the work, and anything that comes after that is great. It's a boring goal. It's not anything anyone would read I don't know if people still read a blog. Anyone would follow my TikTok.
We hope they do. Read our blog.
Well, read our Substack.
Yes.
Not blog, but Substack.
Yes.
But it's not anything that anyone would like, follow my TikTok weight loss journey. That's not going to happen. As I show up to the gym for 30 minutes every day. Super boring.
So I based on what you said, I want to say that I talked about a lot of things in my research goal, but the way I think about my research goal is there's a pipeline, and I'm just working at it, creating priorities.
You are so good at that. You are so good at that.
Thank you. And just chipping, and the one thing that I have to teach all of my graduate students is lowest hanging fruit, what is closest to publication, let's work on that. I know I had that conversation a few days ago with one of our graduate students. It's like, I know this is a shiny new thing and you're really excited intellectually about this thing. And I ask about this paper that's like 2 hours of work before publication.
Stop looking at me with your piercing eyes, guy.
That's not that. I'm talking to a graduate student and we have a paper that's 2 hours before publication, literally 2 hours of work. And she's like, well, that's already done. And I'm like, no, it's not done. As long as it is on our computer and not the journal's computer, then we have a problem. The minute it moved, then we move to this new intellectual thing that's really exciting and has these new theories that you're dying to explore that I personally care a lot less about. But I want to get this done. So it's a pipeline and I may get through the 4 papers I want, or maybe only 2. But there's this, 30 minutes at the gym every day.
Yeah.
And so eventually it gets you exactly where you want to go. But it's not, I will publish 10 things because I have no control over it actually getting published. All I can do is work on the manuscript and send it out. And then get it back and then send it out. I have one that's gone 5 times.
Ooh.
I hope we are done now, people. Talking to the editors.
Also, I did work on that paper yesterday, just FYI. So, all right. So let's talk about, really briefly, some small actions that can impact your goal setting. Like, you want to make sure you're not setting yourself up for failure because we work in academia. And there's no shortage of people who will tell you what you're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So don't add yourself to that cacophony of voices. It's not worth it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right? And I think one of the biggest things is, even before you set any goals, get a sense of your semester.
Mm-hmm.
Get a sense of, look at your syllabi, look at the due dates that you already know about, whether it's a special journal article or it's a conference proposal or what have you. Get those on a calendar. When are you traveling?
Yeah.
When are assignments due? How heavy are those? How heavy is the lift of those assignments, so that you can start to see where certain days, I find that certain days have kind of a gravitational pull.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes there'll be a day where I've got 8 meetings and a special event and and yet at the same time, my journal article's due and I need to get a conference presentation and yada, yada. And knowing kind of in advance where those gravitational pulls are starting is super helpful. Having an idea of the contours, because it gives you an idea of the amount of time that you have versus like, oh, I'm just gonna do whatever, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, for example, I just did a planning document. Actually, I started last semester, but I did a planning document around spring conferences and getting ready to apply for fall conferences. And so there's a planning document, and it's a realistic one because I went a little overboard last year and I had grant money. So it was fine, but now I don't have quite as much grant money, although...
What a humble brag that was. I don't have quite as much.
Well, I don't want to say I don't have anything.
Let me tell you about my grants money. My name is Guy, and I love grants money. I'm a professor of everything, and those grants hit.
Yes. So...
What is in this coffee?
I don't know, but I'll go for another round. So I actually created a document and with the graduate students, because I always apply with graduate students, and we're like, okay, who's going to go to this conference? Who's going to go to this conference? Who's going to go? Because that way we can go to lots of conferences and have representation, and especially if there's proceedings, that's fantastic. But still make it realistic and overlay it over a teaching schedule. Mm-hmm. Because I can't go, when I'm teaching twice a week, I can't go to 5 conferences. It just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So I gave up on Hawaii. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe next time.
Sad.
Yeah, it is fine. I gave up on NAE in Chicago. And
Okay.
so we made some hard decisions. Did I want to let go of any of these things? No, I did not. I wanted to go everywhere, all the time. But I had to let go. So
You do have a hunger for life.
at least conference life, yeah.
Yeah, I do not. Do not, but it's a thing. It's a thing. So that's going to allow you to establish some default settings. Like, what are your expectations for email? How long is your email going to stay at 0?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need it to stay at 0. I just need to.
I need it to not have 753 though. So it's somewhere in between is the.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out better ways to, and I've done an okay job at this, putting information in places where I'm like, did you check that first?
Yeah.
So that I don't have to like respond immediately. It's in places, right? What are your grading windows? What are your meetings boundaries? Like, there are certain meetings that I'm just gonna stop going to unless they do certain things. Like, if it could have literally been an email,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go.
Exactly.
So, and that makes me happy, right? Like, additionally, one thing that I haven't done this semester that I realized really pushed me forward, and David Allen's meeting with yourself, scheduling 30 minutes, an hour every week to go through what you got done, what you want to do next. Like, that has been sorely missing in my life this semester. And I'm building that back in. Like,
you have to do it.
You have to do it. And
otherwise you're just flailing
I got
and
it.
hoping something will
this is
come out.
exactly what I feel like this semester. Woo! Yeah. So I'm going to build that in, because you can do all of this planning right now at the beginning of the semester, but you also have to, it's like a pet, you have to feed it.
Yes.
I have not been feeding my pet. My Tamagotchi is dead.
Okay. As long as it's not the dogs, then
No,
fine.
that's why I said Tamagotchi.
Yeah,
Digital.
Yeah, I was getting worried there for a second. I'm like, what happened over the break?
Phyllis and Rhoda are very fine.
Oh, okay.
Phyllis is old and deaf. She keeps running into doors. I shouldn't laugh, but it's really cute. Because she's like, where did this come from? It's been there for 5 years, since we moved in. But whatever. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
We will all get there.
We will all get there. All right, so that's where we're going to leave this for today. When you're thinking about your beginning of semester goals, start small, keep it honest, and you're going to give yourself a semester you can actually survive.
Pick one goal and one system that supports it. The system is the magic. What are you going to do differently? And not just more. Everything else is optional.
And remember that if things slide, that's not a character flaw. That's just academia doing academia things in academia ways. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's not on you.
And we'll check back around mid-semester and see how your goals are going and if they actually came to fruition and you're checking in with yourself or it totally fell apart.
Well, we're going to check in on your goals, too. This is not a one-sided relationship, guy. Both of these things are happening.
I was hoping to avoid that. But
yeah,
sure.
No, tough. If I have to check in, you have to check in.
Okay.
It'll be good. Okay, because, this is probably going to go either way. Like, things are going to hold up and things are going to fall apart, and that's fine. It's all going to be good.
So thank you for joining us.
And we'll see you next time on Not That Kind of Doctor.